thank you all for waiting a couple of minutes, and thank you for being here. If you guys have the printed schedule, you're probably here for the JavaScript for single-page web applications. There was some kind of mistake on the scheduling, and what I'm going to talk today is something similar. I'm going to talk about the Realtime Framework and XRTML. I'm actually debuting XRTML 3.0 here in the US today. I'm Sergio Costa. I'm from Portugal, so my English is not very good. I work as a real-time developer evangelist for a company called IBT from Portugal. I've been developing since 2000, so for almost 12 years. You have my contacts there. So today on the agenda, I'm going to talk about HTML5 and real-time. I'm going to talk about different communication modules, the advantages of the real-time web, the Realtime Web Framework, which is comprised of the ORTC and XRTML. I'm going to do some demos, and I'm going to tell you how to start. Real-time communication. Before I start with the presentation, real-time is the concept, okay? A lot of people, when they listen to me talking about real-time, they instantly think about WebSocket and WebSocket only. WebSocket is just one of the protocols. Real-time as a whole is a concept, okay? It's something that, to be very honest, as a developer, I probably wouldn't start to grasp from the start. But if you do understand the concept and you do need and want to dive into it, it can be very powerful for both web developers and mobile developers. Okay. Why do we say that HTML5, or why do we say that the real-time framework is HTML5's best friends? Well, we all know HTML5, we all love HTML5. You can build some very nice, rich internet applications with all the APIs that are out there, the geolocation API, local storage, WebSockets, etc. Okay? But the thing is that without a means to transport, all the cool stuff between browsers and servers and different applications, we still have static content. We can do all the different things with Ajax and other kinds of real-time or near real-time, but to be very honest, they are all kind of flawed. So with real-time, we can create a persistent bidirectional connection between your users and your servers or your applications. It kills away static content. All of a sudden, you have a way to start pushing new content to people. You have a way to start spreading information among different platforms, different browsers, and different applications. It actually kind of takes away, the empowerment of our web applications from the users to your own application. Right now, we are kind of stuck in this, request-response model where your user's browser is the one that is in charge of the communication. If you want to send up anything to your user, you'll have to wait for his browser to actually contact your server, ask for information for you to be able to send it back. Of course, this has a drawback, which is you are not using actual real-time. You're not actually pushing content to the users. You are actually sending content only when the browser asks for that content, and this can happen every few seconds or even every few minutes, depending on whatever timing you are using. With real-time communication and with WebSockets and all the other communication protocols that we are using, you can actually start pushing content. Not at a given set amount of time, but at any interval you want. What are the advantages? All of a sudden, we have bidirectional communication, okay? You can both send and receive information. You are not just relying on your user's browsers to send information to you. You are not only relying on your user browsers to ask for information for you to send that information. You really have a two-way street. You can start sending information, and you can start receiving information simultaneously, full duplex, okay? This allows you to be in constant contact with your visitor or your user. What this does is it creates bigger engagement. Okay? Imagine that all of a sudden, you can start seeing that people are going to merge into a certain part of your website. And while you are monitoring it in real time using your own dashboard, for example, you can start using, or you can start sending new information, you can start pushing information. If you have like an e-commerce website, you can start sending them information about whatever is coming new or about a new promotion or something like this, okay? All of a sudden, you have a whole new way of starting to communicate with your customers. Other than that, you also have ultra low latency, okay? Every single time that a user is asking your server for some bit of information, you'll have to wait for the request to be made by your browser, for your server to process a request, and for the response to be sent. With real-time communication, you can actually push content in under 100 milliseconds. So whenever it's available, it's going to be spread out to your users, okay? Also, since you're not using a request-response model, you are using less bandwidth. You're not wasting bandwidth with requests that are coming completely empty. You are just using that bandwidth to send information when it really is available, okay? And of course, with HTML5 tags and CSS3, we can build one-of-a-kind web applications, and not just web, but also for mobile devices. So real-time framework is comprised of two big areas, okay? ORTC and XRTML. The first one that we are going to talk about is ORTC. And let me start by saying that we have spent, Realtime has spent a lot of time trying to provide developers with these tools that we believe are some of the best available tools out there for you to start developing right now using whatever protocol your browser uses. It supports multiple protocols, okay? Like I said in the beginning, we're not just stuck or we're not just doing WebSocket. We're doing WebSockets. We're falling back to whatever your browser uses. It may be long polling, it may be regular polling, whatever, it doesn't matter. And we are also going to support whatever comes next. If WebRTC is the future, or HTTP2 is the future, we're going to continue to support those standards, those protocols, to provide you, the developer, with the best way available, possible, for you to send information to your users. You have full control of your applications. No longer, the developer has control, or the user has control over your website. You will have control over whatever it's done on your website, and it's hassle-free. Since we are supporting multiple protocols, we are taking care of the transport layer for you. We're taking care of whatever the browser is using, whatever the browser supports. It's completely hassle-free for you. You don't have to worry about if a given browser is using a given draft of WebSocket, or if even it doesn't use WebSocket at all. We are doing all the hard work for you. It's cross-platform, okay? All of a sudden, you are coming out of this mobile or web-only universe, and you are starting to use, or you can use this layer of communication to a plethora of different systems. You can use it for a browser, of course. You can use it for native mobile devices. You can use it for server applications like Node.js, for example, and you can even use it for desktop applications. Everything goes through a single point of communication. You don't have to worry about having several different systems that communicate with themselves or communicate with other devices and have to take care of all those systems, all those different servers. Everything can go through ORTC. It's cross-browser, okay? One of our biggest nightmares as developers is having to get everything working on every single browser out there, or at least on some very old browsers. We take care of that for you too, okay? You only have to use the framework and it'll do all the hard work. It even works on Internet Explorer 6, so you'll be more than happy to start using the technology and start developing applications without having to worry about what browser you are actually using. It uses this very simple, but at the same time, kind of complex system of PubSub, of publishing and subscribing. We are working in a cloud environment, okay? We have a lot of different keys for different applications. And of course, it would be not very, very nice for you as a developer just to send information and to echo it out to everybody without, single pointing a user or sending to a group of users or whatnot. We are actually using channels. We are actually using different ways for you to broadcast information through different channels of communication. This allows you to, for example, send information to a single user, or you can actually send information to a group of users, or you can send information to all of the users that are on the website right now. So again, with the e-commerce website example, you can all of a sudden send information or send a promotion to a single user that is at a given section, or send a promotion to a group of users that probably know each other, and since you know that, you can create a channel just for them and send them information for them to check out, promotions, voucher, whatever you want to send them to them. One of the biggest concerns we had was scalability, okay? We actually had, during all the process of development of the framework, we had three major concerns. One of them was scalability, the other one was security, and the other one was to provide this framework as a very easy-to-use tool for developers. Especially, scalability and security were two very, very important issues that most of the developers that came out to speak with us and check out the technology asked about. We actually did a few tests a few months ago. We did a test called the Chuck Norris test, in which we were able to connect 1 million concurrent users, broadcasting 1.5 million messages per second. Okay? This is how important scalability is for us. And we are not limited to these 1 million users, and we are not limited to these 1.5 million messages per second. We did this in a very limited environment with a small cluster of 22 servers, okay? We are on the cloud, we can scale out, we can achieve a much larger number, and you as a developer, again, don't need to worry about having to do anything besides using the framework. Security, again, like I told you, big issue, okay? We all probably have used or have seen WebSockets. We will all probably know about all the different protocols that are out there, but they're just transport protocols. They're a way for you to send information, to send data. It does not have its own security system, okay? So whatever you are sending out there, it can be intercepted. If people know what you are using, what your server is, or even if your channel name is, you can start sending information to people that you do not want for any reason to get any information. So we have implemented the security system. It's very similar to to the OAuth 2, okay, in which you are provided a token and which you can then provide read and write permissions for different users for different channels. So for example, if I was an administrator of a news website, I would probably have read and write permissions for the news channel. Whenever I wanted for people to get all the latest news, I could send it in real time to everybody else. You, of course, as a users, would probably have read-only rights. Okay? I don't want you to start sending information. I don't want you to start sending fake news. I don't want to start sending pictures of naked ladies for everybody else out there, no matter how nice that would be for some people. But we don't want people to start meddling with information, start screwing with our information, start destroying our website. So we have developed a very, very tight security model for you to be able to protect your communication layer, for you to be able to protect your website without having anyone meddling with it. What this does is actually allows you, like I told you before, for you to have different permissions for different users, or even for different platforms, okay? You can have, for example, your browser sending and receiving communications, sending and receiving messages, or having, for example, a server application only gathering information, not being able to send, or have any other system just broadcasting information to your users. See it again on the e-commerce model. You can have, for example, a Node.js or whatever server just getting information and processing that information and storing that information on a database. You don't want that system to be able to send information out there. You don't want that system, for some reason, to start sending any data. On the other hand, you can have systems that will only send data, okay? They will only have permissions to write into your channels and to start sending information to everybody out there. Other main things that we were very concerned about, and you probably have seen some studies, and you probably have seen some articles out there, is bandwidth usage. We were very concerned about some environments or some systems that could start spreading information wildly, and all of a sudden, instead of we solving a problem for you guys, which would be the communication problem, we will probably be giving you a much bigger problem. Everybody has the liberty, everybody has the liberty to send stuff, everybody has the liberty to receive stuff, and all of a sudden, you have massive amount of information going back and forth. Fortunately, we were managed to reduce the amount of bandwidth since we're reducing the number of messages, and we're also reducing the amount, the size on each message. As an example, I can tell you, for example, that if you are using Ajax to simulate real time, every single time your browser is performing a request, you are sending about 2 kilobytes of data that is completely waste. We're just talking about headers, okay? And whenever your server is actually responding to the browser, you are receiving another extra 2 kilobytes of nothing but headers. So for each response request pair of requests here, you are actually sending and getting 4 kilobytes of data. This actually is nothing, okay? We're talking about a very small amount of data, but when you start scaling up, you'll start to see that you are actually starting to use a lot of wasted bandwidth. And this is just for a very small, this example here is for a very small 100 byte messages, 100 character messages with a very, very small amount of data. Okay, now imagine this if you are going to start to send a lot of different information, a lot of bigger information. You can save a lot of bandwidth for you and your customers. This is especially true, and this is especially important. Now that companies are, let's see it this way. Everybody is connected to the internet right now. Everybody has one mobile device or 2 mobile devices or even more connected to the internet the whole time. We are wasting a lot of bandwidth. We are, using a large amount of resources that it's not infinite. We will end up using up all the available bandwidth sooner or later. By using real time instead of using regular Ajax or polling or whatnot, you're actually reducing that amount of data that is being sent and that is being retrieved. And you're actually helping solving a problem that could become much bigger. Another problem that we wanted to solve for you guys, hosting. Okay? We are hosted on the cloud. We are using a cloud-hosted system. You don't have to worry about anything except start using the framework and start working with the framework. You don't have to install anything on your servers. You don't have to install anything on your machines. You just need to start working with the framework, start using it, and building great applications. And one of the cool things is future-proof. And no matter what protocol is coming, like I said before, whatever it comes there, we're going to support it. So you don't have to worry whenever a new protocol comes out, you don't have to worry about redoing all your code, redoing all your programming, because you're going to take care of it for you. You just need to talk ORTC, and ORTC will do whatever it does with whatever protocol it's available out there. Okay, now for XRTML, which is actually a big part of what we are doing here in the US. All this I've shown you before helps you by providing you a layer of abstraction over protocols, over browsers, over whatever is out there. I've seen some people laughing when I talked about Internet Explorer 6. And although it's not a very, very used browser right now, we all have had our nightmares. And Internet Explorer 7 is still out there, and 8 is still out there. Even with the different newer web browsers, we have problems because there are also new drafts for WebSocket versions. So we have a lot of different issues that ORTC comes to help us and help us leverage whatever technologies are out there and help us as developers to use those technologies without having to worry and without having to go through all the hassle of all the different browsers and different technologies. XRTML actually goes a bit further by adding yet another abstraction layer, okay? Working with ORTC, it's not difficult. Working with ORTC, it's actually kind of easy once you grasp all the concept and you start coding. But we also wanted to provide you with another layer of abstraction that allows you to work even faster. So we are managing the connections for you. We are managing the messages. Whenever a message is sent or received, you don't have to worry about it. We can actually make it work automatically for you. We are manipulating the DOM for you. So whatever you need to do on the web page, most of the stuff that you need to do, we are probably doing for you. Just need to add some XRTML there, and I'm going to show you some examples later on. Just need to add some XRTML to the web page, and everything just starts to work. We have different APIs. We have different content management systems. Like I said before, we're not just stuck with the web. We're here to help you guys develop for all sorts of different mobile applications, all sorts of different platforms, even desktop or the server applications. So we're actually providing you with a big set of different APIs for you to use in whatever language or whatever platform you want to be using it, okay? Imagine, for example, that you are developing an HTML5 multiplayer game. And all of a sudden, you can actually have an HTML5 multiplayer game that is being played on a browser, and you can actually have an Android or iOS or Windows Phone or whatever native application that is communicating with the HTML5 games out there on different browsers. All of a sudden, you have this huge ecosystem of different platforms and different systems all working together, and providing all your players the same environment and the same communication among them. This is very big for us developers, for us web developers. We can actually start stepping out of what we are doing and start doing new things and start working with other teams, with other development teams out there, such as mobile development teams. For XRTML 3.0, I honestly don't think that a lot of you guys have used XRTML before, but anyway, we have done some core refactoring. We have actually reduced some time. We have actually increased performance of XRTML, and we were very fast before. We're even faster and more stable now. We have a versioning system. We had a lot of developers in the past complaining about whenever a new version came out, and they would be using third-party applications over XRTML, they had a problem because some third-party applications only work with some older versions of XRTML, and they wanted to start using the latest version right now. Okay, and this was a problem because we weren't actually able to split these different kinds of different versions, and we were forcing you to use only one. So if you really wanted to use this third-party application, you probably wouldn't be able to use the latest version, since you would have to keep the older version working on your browser. With versioning, we can have different objects working with different versions of XRTML, and everything will work for the different applications, be yours or be it the application from the third party. We have an improved templating system. Are you guys familiar with Knockout.js? Has any, you guys, yeah? So if you are familiar with Knockout.js, you'll be happy to know that we are supporting Knockout.js. And all our templating for providing information and changing the DOM is based or is Knockout.js compatible. Whatever you know about Knockout.js will be usable in XRTML. Let me give you an example. If you have like, again, I'm sorry, the e-commerce, or the news example, the news site example. You want to broadcast a new news item for your users. You can have an piece of XRTML getting the information and displaying it for your users in real time. Okay, with Knockout.js, you can have a template which is based on the VVM model, as you know, and you just have to add the tag to the web page, and whatever the XRTML tag receives information, it will simply put it on the website. Okay, it's very easy. I'll just show you later on. We have a metadata system which provides you a better debugging. We also have, I'm going to skip this up since you guys probably never heard about the inheritance model before. One of the things that I really wanted to talk about you today is the storage system. The storage system allows you to use our cloud hosting to start to storage little bits of information. A lot of you guys out there work with MySQL and other databases, but a lot of people out there don't. Okay, they're just using very small HTML websites, or they are using hosted blogs like WordPress, and it's kind of hard for them to be able to maintain and to persist data. So we are actually providing people with the ability to persist little pieces of data using our storage service. Okay, right now we are using a key value pair model in which you can store data using a key pair value, but we are planning on supporting other kinds of databases such as MySQL, SQL, such as MongoDB, etc. Okay, so how does this thing work? In the browser, it's very easy. It's just a regular JavaScript library which you guys add to your website, and it simply connects to the ORTC server, and whenever the new message is coming, it will process the message, and we will start doing things. We'll start changing the DOM, adding stuff to the web page, or even sending new data for other users to see. XRTML is kind of like any regular JavaScript library. You just have a few classes, you just have a few methods, you'll fill it up with some models, and you are actually done. What you are seeing here, it's a repeater tag that allows you to process a message and put that information on your web page, like I will show you in a few minutes. Okay. This is what we call, we like to call it the XRTML, not for dummies, but for people that doesn't really know about a lot about programming. We want them to be able to actually use XRTML without even having to know about JavaScript or programming. It's not a very popular model among developers. You guys don't want to work with tags, you want to work with JavaScript. But it's actually very popular with people with small blogs and small website owners that don't know anything about programming and still want to be able to do their stuff. And this is the very basic pub/sub way of sending and receiving information. Like I told you before, we have a few tags, widget kind tags, that do all the hard work for you. But if you are a hardcore programmer, and most of you guys out there are, you can just simply use our pub/sub model and send your own information, receive your own information, process it at will, and do whatever you want. This provides you full control over XRTML, full control over ORTC, full control over whatever you want to do on your website without having to rely on what we are doing. Right now we have about 25 tags. All of them do a lot of different stuff. You can check it out at realtime.co, which you can see on the upper right corner. We have a lot more coming up. We have a lot of cool stuff, even from developers that are trying to help us and help us grow the technology and help us grow the amount of stuff that we have out there. And here we are. We were kind of counting on you guys to come aboard, give it a try, and help us out and help us grow. All in all, I think we're very excited to bring this to you guys over here in the US. We're very excited to show you guys, and we're very excited to get feedback. We're having some very nice feedback from developers all over the world. We have approximately 1.5 thousand developers so far in a little over 6 months, and really hope to have you guys with us on this journey to get all this new and cool technology going forth and helping you develop the application for the Web 3.0. Let me just finish here by. Okay, so guys, all this is very cool. All this is very new. All this is very exciting. These are concepts that, to be very honest, I kind of took me by surprise when I first started looking at it. But now that I'm used to it, it's very second nature. So how can I, as a developer, start using Realtime right now? Well, you simply have to register as a realtime.co. There's one of the options there is to register as a developer. Okay, just do that, register as a developer, it's free. You'll get your application and private keys on your email. And you'll just start coding. Like I told you guys, everything works on the cloud, so you don't have to install anything. You don't have to worry about anything else except start developing right now. Okay. Here are my contacts. We'll have an XRTML hands-on tomorrow. I'll talk about everything that I've talked here, how everything works. I'll show everything, everything step by step. I'll let you guys, get your hands dirty, help you with whatever your questions may be, and if you have any other questions that you may have after the workshop, I'll be more than happy to assist you. Thank you very much for being here. I'm sorry for being so jet-lagged. It's been a long flight. Thank you.